Going to address swabbing the bassoon now. As with the oboe, the reed should be taken off the bogle and blown out from the bulb end to remove any moisture, any beads of water from inside the reed. And the reed placed in the bassoon reed case. Next, the bogle should be removed from the instrument, and moisture that collects in the bogle should be blown out from the corked end so that any drops of water come out onto the floor. Have to be careful that you don't let the students blow like this, because the neighbor is going to get it in the face. There are only two sections of the bassoon that need to be swabbed, and that is the tenor joint, or commonly known as the wing joint, and the boot. The type of swab that is best to use is one that is, again, a silk type fabric that is attached to a cord, and a piece of chain, thin chain, is attached to that cord. The tenor joint should be turned upside down and the chain inserted in the cork end. And this is always done, especially with the upper joints of any of the woodwind instruments, so that any moisture that has not come all the way down to the bottom end of that joint doesn't get pulled down to it. All the moisture gets pulled back up toward the top. And then the swab can be pulled all the way through the tenor joint. And that piece can be put in its case. Probably the most important section of the bassoon that should be swabbed is the boot. You can see that there are two holes at the top of the boot, a smaller one, oops, that's the larger one, a large one where the bass joint is inserted, and a smaller one where the tenor joint is inserted. So if the water from the tenor joint does get all the way down to the end of that joint, it will go into the smaller hole and down this side of the boot. That is one of the reasons, or probably the only reason, why the tenor joint and the tenor joint half of the boot is lined with hard rubber, or lined with rubber, to prevent the instrument from rotting away, especially the boot. Then the bore of the bassoon makes a U down at the bottom of the boot and comes back up, attach the bass joint, and then the bell. So I'm going to insert the chain end of my swab into the larger hole of the boot. That's the side that will not collect water, because water does not move up. It will move down, and it will collect in the bottom of the boot. So I'm going to feed the chain and the cord into the large hole of the boot, and I'm going to maneuver the section around, the boot around, until the chain falls out the other side. And then I pull the swab all the way through so that it pulls out any moisture that is collected in the bottom of the boot.